One Punch Chapter 5. Chapter 7. Attacked by strange people. Try. Foo. Result. False. Catch. E. Chapter 8. Emergency meeting of the Heroes Association. But don't worry, he's just a second-rate hero who can't even rank in the B rank. The elephant-headed freak added. What, senior, don't scare me. I thought I was a powerful character, it turned out to be a rookie. The wolf-headed weirdo's hanging heart was put down, and he wanted to be serious. But it seemed unnecessary. Seeing Wuxiao taking steps and eager to try, the sweetheart masquerade raised her head abruptly and regained her composure. Wait for the kitchen knife to chop the man. You don't have to make a move. At the moment when Wuxiao was stunned, the sweetheart masquerade was like a ghost, and when he reappeared, it was behind the two weirdos. He showed a hateful expression. Threw out an imposing hand knife, and cut it at the neck of the wolf-headed weirdo. It happened so fast that no one could see it. Only the elephant-headed weirdo's big ears fluttered, and immediately detected the action of the sweetheart mask, and it secretly shouted badly, shouting at the wolf-headed weirdo, "Flash away. Junior." What? The wolf-headed weirdo subconsciously turned around, but it was too late. The hand knife continued to enlarge in its eyes, and in a blink of an eye, it cut off its neck, spilled hot blood, and splashed the sweetheart mask. The big head rolled on the ground a few times, and his face was full of horror. But, damn it. Seeing the tragic situation of the junior without any resistance, the elephant-headed weirdo immediately realized that he underestimated the sweetheart mask, and his heart tightened. And he hurried to the window and wanted to jump off the building to escape. But at the moment of turning around, a bloodline appeared on its neck, and the screams were not issued, ushering in the same ending as the juniors. With their heads rolling on the ground and their eyes extremely remorseful. Sweetheart masquerade shakes off the blood dripping from his hands, and from top to bottom, his eyes are bloodshot, glaring at the bodies of two weirdos. It's too late, it's fast, it's just a few seconds. That's awesome. Wuxiao sighed softly. Seeing it with his own eyes is far more shocking than watching it through the screen. I have to say, is this the threshold of S-class heroes? It is really powerful. The sweetheart masquerade squeezed out a trace of kindness and looked at Wuxiao. Let's stop here for today. Too many unexpected things have happened. In the future, I will invite you as a guest when I have the opportunity. If you pay for advertising, I will let the agent enter your account. Wuxiao nodded slightly, not planning to stay. But it's strange how that young man turned into a weirdo. Could it be? Things shouldn't be that fast. With some doubts, Wuxiao left the film and television building and prepared to call a car to return home. At this time, no one noticed that there was a blood-red-eyed crow, standing on the window opposite the building, observing everything that happened in the shooting room. Downstairs of the film and television building, in a remote corner, two men wearing red clouds and black robes and wearing hoods covering their faces quietly watched the passers-by on the street who became panicked due to the sound of explosions. Let's go, ghost mackerel. The man with black hair and nasolabial folds suddenly turned around and walked into a darker path. Don't go and clean up that class hero. The man with light blue skin and a shark-like appearance, carrying a large knife that was bandaged and tightened, turned his head and asked. Now we are not opponents, people who are called heroes in this world, their physical fitness is far stronger than that of ninjas. Uchiha closed his eyes and continued walking. I don't know what you see, Mr. Itachi, but you actually don't want ordinary people to get involved. A weird smile appeared on the face of the dried persimmon ghost mackerel. And he immediately followed. Well, now is really not the time. The figures of the two gradually melted into the darkness. Flowing water rock crushing boxing dojo. Above the clearing, Teacher Bungu, Xianxia stood in front of the gate of the dojo, looking at her teacher's back with a worried expression. Xianxia, who are you worried about? Don't come out. An old man with grey dry hair and sharp eyes, moving like muscles, turning his capable right arm, looking into the air. With a strange black rod inserted in his body and a pair of target-like eyes. This strange bird has dark green feathers and a huge beak, nearly half of its entire body, and its terrifying shape is chilling. Weird. It's not quite right. Silver Fangs Bungu narrowed his eyes slightly and looked up. Ugh. The next moment, the strange bird fluttered its wings, emitted a sharp strange roar, and crashed towards Bangu with its beak straight. Flowing water rock-crushing fist. Bangulio bent over, prepared a fighting posture, waited for the moment the opponent was close to the attack range, dodged sideways, and then made a thick and powerful fierce elbow blow from top to bottom, clicked, broke the beak of the strange bird from it, and then made a tooth spike punch that did not drag at all, penetrating the strange bird's brain. Strangely, this strange bird was hit hard, turned into a large white mist, and disappeared. What is this? Tricks. Bungu withdrew his punch and stared blankly at the place where the strange bird had disappeared. Teacher Bungu, are you okay? Cha Lanzi ran over anxiously and asked. So didn't you say, who are you worried about, Xianxia? But what the hell is going on? Bungu put his hands behind his back and said slowly, lost in thought. The morning light shines. Wuxiao was woken up by the alarm clock of his mobile phone, closed his eyes and touched the fish blindly, turned it off, and lay down for about 20 minutes before getting up to rinse his mouth. After a simple breakfast, Wuxiao planned to go out and look for the weirdo. The two weirdos in the film and television building were killed first by the sweetheart mask, which is a pity to be honest. At this time, Wuxiao did not know that last night, a strange thing happened. The 17 S-class heroes of the Hero Association, except for the unknown explosion and the mysterious metal knight, were all attacked by unknown weirdos, although it was not a big deal. But just in case, the association decided to hold an emergency meeting. Wuxiao, who was walking halfway, was inexplicably invited by phone and had a special car transfer. When he came back to his senses, he was already sitting in the conference room of the headquarters of the Hero Guild, glaring at the other S-class heroes. Demolition, Metal Knight, and injured sexy prisoners are currently absent. Oh, is this the kitchen knife who refuses to be promoted to an S-class hero? It's quite imposing. The atomic samurai sitting next to him, holding a bamboo stick in his mouth, touching his chin, stared at Wuxiao with interest. So, your knife skills are very good. The atomic samurai had a sense of challenge hidden in his eyes, and he seemed to be smiling. The devil transformation man Genos also cast a curious look, but he personally examined the body of the deep-seeking. What kind of fighting method can make the weirdo lose too much blood and die? He cares very much. Why aren't people who aren't S-class heroes here? The legal lowly tornado floated in the air with his mental power. His whole body was covered with a light green light. His hands were held in front of his chest, and he looked up slightly at Wuxiao. Wuxiao was uncomfortable being stared at by her, but was cheeky and did not speak. Strangely, all S-class heroes were attacked at the same time. This development is not quite right. Even if it is a hero hunter hungry wolf, it is also a one. It is necessary to understand the situation and avoid missing any information. Cough. Compared to this, please explain first, about what happened last night. The bearded man who presided over the meeting coughed lightly, solved the siege for Wuxiao, and entered the topic. Chapter 9 Death Vending Machines. My home was undoubtedly attacked, but I wasn't there at the time. There was a hideous scar on the left side of his face, and King, who ranked 7th in the S rank, was the first to speak. Tornado looked away from Wuxiao and said casually, I didn't see it clearly, anyway, I was killed instantly. It seems to give people a very strange feeling, but it is impossible to say specifically. Bungu recalled carefully and gave a fairly clear statement. Oh, it's like taking the initiative to send death. The atomic warrior chuckled, holding a bamboo stick. The S-class heroes said their experiences one after another, but the information they got was painless, probably because the other party itself did not want to leave too obvious traces. Could it be that someone wants to test you? While everyone was discussing the heat, Wuxiao suddenly said faintly. The atomic samurai turned around and looked at Wuxiao. Temptation? Who is so boring? Quote. For example, an organization that gathers many weirdos or something. Wuxiao can only think of the weird association. As for the details, it cannot be said too clearly. And it is inevitable to be doubted. Is there really that kind of boring organization? Compared to this, I said that the kitchen knife slashed the man. You refuse to be promoted to an S-class hero. It should not be expected in advance that you will be attacked. You're worth our doubts. The atomic warrior moved closer and said half-jokingly. How about it? Do you want to have a sword fight with me to prove your innocence? He added. How can this be proved? Said Wuxiao speechlessly, borrowing public and private belonging. To be honest, the atomic samurai is not his opponent, but the weirdos that the atomic samurai can defeat, but not necessarily fight. This relationship is wonderful. No need. Last night the kitchen knife slashed His Excellency, and with Mr. Sweetheart Carmen, they were both attacked by weirdos. The bearded man explained. Yes, that's no way. The atomic warrior turned around, his tone disappointed. In short, I hope you will be careful in the future. There seems to be some conspiracy, lurking in the darkness, slowly germinating. The bearded man looked extremely solemn and said seriously. At the end of the meeting, the S-class heroes either go back to their residences or fight the weirdos. After all, there are unpeaceful things happening in this world every day. Tornado was very leisurely, and the first to fly out of the conference room. The blowing snow group who heard the news, sitting in the small room in front of the conference room waiting, saw a familiar figure come out. The blowing snow blinked, got up and asked with concern. Sister, I heard that you were attacked last night. I'm okay. The tornado fell in front of blowing snow and wrote lightly. Oh, blowing snow knew that his concern was superfluous and said nothing more. Looking at the S-class heroes who came out one after another, the eyelashes and mountain apes next to them, including Lily, another member of the blowing snow group, all felt awe in their hearts. Thinking that this is the strongest elite protecting this city, it looks too reliable. Who is that S-class hero? Lily found Wuxiao, who was looking down at her mobile phone, and said blankly. Let me see. Which one? As a staff officer of the blowing snow group, Eyelash knew a lot of things. He followed Lily's line of sight, and immediately froze in place. And the picture in front of him short-circuited his brain and opened his eyes. His mouth was half open, but he couldn't say anything. Why is that kid here? The mountain ape also looked over, and was also shocked on the spot, rubbed his eyes, and was not mistaken. What's wrong, you two? Blowing Snow noticed that something was wrong between the two of them and wondered. Yu Guang glanced at it, and then saw Wuxiao slowly coming out. Kitchen knife slashing man. Blowing Snow's heart trembled. Unbelievable. How? You know him. Dragon Scroll turned around and glanced at Wuxiao, and said to Blowing Snow again. Isn't he a B-class hero? Why would he attend your sister's meeting? Blowing Snow's expression was a little unnatural, and his face was slightly hot. Probably because he refused the promotion of an S-class hero. It seems that there are two strokes. Tornado yawned a little and said nonchalantly. Chapter 1 Previous Chapter 5 93 Next chapter Epilogue Table of Content